So you might not believe me if I said that tofu makes a better vegan chicken sandwich than just about any other plant-based meat out there. But it does. So let me show you how. So first things first, we're going to start off with our extra firm block of protein. I mean, it's tofu, and there is quite a bit of protein in this. This sandwich is going to end up having about 23 grams of protein, which is pretty comparable to like a normal chicken sandwich of about 27 to 28 grams of protein. Now with the tofu, this might be kind of silly, but I felt like this is going to play an important role in the texture. I feel like it. So I'm actually going to tear this block in half. I'm not going to slice it in half because I didn't want flat edges. I wanted kind of like a rough edge to start with. And the way that I'm going to do that and tear this block in half without like completely destroying it is I'm going to actually tear it all the way around. I'm going to create a seam, kind of like a fault line, and get all the way around this tofu until eventually I can break it in half. And it worked out perfectly. So my thought in this next part is that I'm going to season the tofu up and then salt it kind of heavily, almost like an osmosis, and transfer those flavors like back into the tofu while I'm dehydrating it. This kind of worked out. So let's start off with a little bit of white vinegar or like a champagne vinegar, any kind of vinegar that you want. Then I'm just going to be using a little bit of garlic powder, onion powder, and then salting it. I'm just using a kosher salt here and making sure that it's entirely coated. Now I have just like a small broiler rack from like my toaster oven, but like if you have any sort of like racked baking sheet, that's going to work best for this because we're going to throw this in the oven on a convection setting. We're going to do 200 degrees and we're going to toss this in for about 2 hours. Now, if you don't have convection, just leave the door propped open. And now's a great time to click the subscribe button. So it's been about 2 hours. This is the longest process to make a chicken sandwich in history, but that's okay because it's going to be good. Our tofu is dried. It has like a nice like firm top on it. And now you're going to see where this odd texture choice actually kind of works out. So the thought is now that this is done dehydrating, I can use something heavy to press on it and smooth down that rough texture, which will give you a more inconsistent chew and bite. So I'm going to let this sit for about 30 minutes and then I'm going to get ready to make my buttermilk marinade. But before that, hey gang, can I have a minute to tell you a little bit about my family and today's sponsor? MyHeritage makes building your family tree a simple and enjoyable activity. It gives you access to powerful tools that can help you research your family history and grow your tree. Monica and I talk about growing up and our family a lot, and I remember growing up, I was lucky I had my great-grandparents when I was a kid. But beyond that, I don't know much about my family history. What were the Staches known for? Were we creating plant-based meat in the 1800s? Now, I'll be honest, I just started with MyHeritage, but building this out has been a lot of fun. I've just been entering the family I know, and it's been popping up with matches. I had to call my mom a few times to confirm some of these family members. And then it was even cool just talking to my mom and kind of going through the history of what she knew. And it's been great because I've been talking to the family a lot more throughout this process and learning more and more. MyHeritage is home to more than 18 billion easily searchable historical records, as well as advanced AI tech for repairing, enhancing, colorizing, and animating historical photos. It's really great bringing some new life into some of these older photos of my grandparents. So gang, I have been getting a load of enjoyment out of this, and I really think that you would too. Sign up for a 14-day free trial and enjoy all of the amazing features that MyHeritage has to offer. And if you decide to continue your subscription, which I know you will, click the link in the description below and you will get a 50% discount. Sign up for the 14-day free trial, click the link, get the 50% off, enjoy MyHeritage and learning about your family. MyHeritage thanks for sponsoring today's video and providing such an incredible tool. And we're back. Our chicken is still pressing, but like I promised, we're going to be making this marinade. Now, this is going to be really simple. You can just use about 2 cups of any plant-based milk you like. Here, I'm just using Ripple, which is like a pea protein milk. Now, I planned on using about 2 tablespoons of dill pickle juice, but it ended up like starting to pour, so I just kind of poured in what I assumed was about 2 tablespoons. Now, lastly, I just wanted to mimic the thickness of an egg, so I just added about a teaspoon of arrowroot starch. So we're just going to whisk this up. Before I toss the tofu in, I'm actually just going to like kind of like break off the corners. I just want to round this off just for the appearance of it. You don't have to do this part. Now toss the tofu in the buttermilk, throw a cover on, and again, a little bit more waiting. Most of this is waiting time. It's not like you have to spend all day staring at these bowls or staring at this tofu sitting here. It's all waiting time. The sandwich only takes like 15 minutes to make, but duration, it's the whole day. So now it is time though to make our dry batter, which is just going to include about a cup of flour, a little pinch of sugar, some smoked paprika, fresh crushed black pepper, and a little bit of salt, because remember, our tofu is supposed to be heavily seasoned. So now this is going to be really easy. We're just going to go from the plant-based buttermilk mixture into the flour, toss around for a little bit. Now I'm just going to pull the first one out and set it on a rack, do the second one, and then we're just going to repeat the process. Back into the buttermilk mixture, back into the flour, tossed around, and then back onto the rack. Now these are both looking pretty good. I'm pretty happy with this. And now let's get our oil ready. I'm just going to use some peanut oil with a large Dutch oven, bring that up to about 365 degrees. Let's toss these in. They're looking good. We're going to fry them on both sides. Make sure you kind of flip them over. After about 7 minutes or so, they should be ready to go. They should be nice and golden brown. Pull them out. Let's start putting together the sandwich. But first we need to make a sauce, kind of like a sweet burger sauce. That's what I'm thinking. So we're just going to start with equal parts mustard, agave, ketchup, and vegan mayo. Now I'm also going to add in a little dash of like rice vinegar just because I want that vinegary taste. I wanted to do dehydrated onions and I should have let them hydrate up in the sauce, but I didn't have the time, so I rehydrated them in the microwave, which the flavor is going to suffer because of that, but I'm okay with, and it still ends up being really good. So now let's put together our sandwich. I have our toasted buns. Let's just top off with our fried chicken tofu, a ton of that sauce. Do not be light with it. And then I'm just gonna throw some pickles on this. We're keeping this super basic. That is it. That's all these sandwiches are doing. I mean, but it looks amazing. I mean, here's this shot again, because it's just, I love it. Now, let's see what Monica has to say.
All right.
Yo.
Cheers.
Cheers.
This is a good chicken sandwich.
Right? That was a good first bite.
Yeah, this is really good. Yeah, no, this is awesome. It definitely feels like chicken when I bite it. And then this fried part, like, definitely has the feel of like fried chicken. The sauce really does make the difference. Like, you need the sauce because this doesn't have like a ton of seasoning. It tastes like chicken and like feels like chicken, but it's a little plain without the sauce.
Yeah. So I was thinking that when I baked it, that would really infuse like a lot of that flavor, and it made it really dense. It gave it like a really nice bite. I love the bite of it. But it didn't infuse as much flavor as I thought.
Now the cool thing is like when you pull it apart, it actually does kind of look like chicken, and it does. You know, at first I wasn't sure, but it does actually have the rip and the look and feel of chicken. You know.
At this point, if I were to make the chicken and like taste it before putting on the sauce or before like topping up the sandwich, all I would have done differently here is just add some salt to the chicken. Like here, hold on. Put your chicken down. We'll just give you a little bit more salt and just see if that makes a little bit more.
Yeah, that's all it is. It's an easy fix.
Yeah. All in all, this is a killer way to make a chicken sandwich out of tofu.
And if I didn't know it was tofu, like if you wouldn't have told me that, I wouldn't be able to tell it's tofu. I know, like, I mean, it just tastes so much like a chicken, like, bite.
You probably would have thought that it was like a Gardein or something, right?
Right. Yeah.
That's what I would have thought. It had very Gardein-y. Oh, it's there, baby.